And I believe we are live. Are we alive? Because if we weren't alive, we'd actually, this would be a really, really
Well, that
weird
means
podcast.
We're Memorex.
yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
I was gonna make an Action Master joke, but I couldn't. I couldn't formulate it in time.
this week at least proved my current state of living.
This month has proved my current state of living, so I get it. Anyway,
Nothing makes you feel more alive than when things start breaking unexpectedly.
I'm here.
I feel that. I feel that. Anyway, welcome back to another Plasticast. I'm joined here by the whole crew again. It's becoming a trend.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. The whole crew is 4 people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's like there's like 20 of us and we're all together for the first time. And it's like, there's 4 of us and this is the crew. I mean, this is the crew. I mean,
Yeah, it's the crew. We just need like a small crew. We don't need a huge one.
Well, are we crew with a K? So we're cool, like
Yes,
KREW.
exactly.
Okay. The 90s are alive and well then.
Exactly.
And with 2 O's. We're crew with a K and 2 O's.
I don't see one thing in that statement that makes us cool. Not one.
We're cool because we're not cool, and being not cool is now cool.
Exactly.
So it's like dividing by 0.
And at some point we missed that boat too. So,
So,
So
what is our deal tonight?
Our deal, we are going to be talking about toy lines other than Transformers and some of the interesting engineering in these other toy lines that we actually like to collect.
And maybe things that haven't come back yet.
True.
That we would like to see again.
That's a very, very true statement.
Can we start off with what we got this week? Because that's probably gonna be Transformer related, and then we can push that to the side.
Sure. What did you guys get this week?
Anyone?
Anybody?
Oh, well, I can show this off real quick. I've got it right here.
Easy, there are children.
Yeah, no, right.
Well, I know. Let me just move this. I've got some stuff on eBay, so I had to move it off the thing.
Evil.
Oh no, the evil bays.
That is a box.
Don't throw your back out there, Dawn. Good grief.
Gee whiz. That thing's huge.
This is the Batman, the animated series by McFarlane, Batwing.
Oh yeah.
This is a Target exclusive, currently at $149.99. I got it at Ross for $60.
That's always
you heard that, guys. Don't go to Target. Go to Ross or TJ Maxx. Get your toys there.
That was.
Is anybody starting to feel like Ross and TJ Maxx is now the modern day KB?
There's something I was going to talk about that too.
Going into this time of year, it is the best place to find stuff that you won't see anywhere else, and stuff that you didn't know existed. So there's that. I actually found I already had it, but on the visit before that, I found the Super 7 Hank the Ranger from their animated Dungeons and Dragons line, which came out earlier this year. $20.
Nice.
So I thought a second NECA Hank in case something happens to my first one at more than half off. Yes, I will take one. And it went to my buggy.
Yeah, I heard the quality wasn't the greatest on those, so I think that was kind of why a lot of people are buying more.
Well, the Hasbro ones are very when the Hasbro ones came out, I expected Marvel Legends kind of no, you got barely above Dollar Tree quality. They were breaking. People were taking the twist ties off, and they were breaking in the box, taking the twist ties off.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was not good. But, yeah, that was... Because usually if a discount chain like Ross or Ollie's, for example, because last year or earlier this year, I can't remember which, the Ghostbusters neutrino wand that had been on Pulse was showing up at Ollie's for $49.99. This was $199 Ghostbusters to go with the proton pack.
Wow.
My Ollie's got two, and they were sold weeks before I even knew they even existed and never saw them. So me finding that Batwing was just like I saw it literally across the store, and I'm like, oh.
You never saw Dawn move faster ever.
Well, you've not seen me in a dealer room, then, have you?
No, I have.
Yeah. It's the first time Christy saw me at TFCon in the dealer room. She wasn't quite sure what to say because she had never seen me quite like that before.
I have never gotten. Well, no, I'll take that back. The last time I found something that had been showing up in outlet stores was the Prime, the Transformer, that first wave of Transformers Prime stuff that was
the first edition.
The first edition stuff. That's the last time, and I didn't even find. I think I only found Bumblebee and Prime, or no, I think I only found Bumblebee. But yeah, that I haven't found. Like, I remember when the Masterpiece Megatron was showing in places. I never found that. Like, every time those things seem to hit Ross and stuff like that, it's never happens in my area. I'm always jealous of people finding that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, Megamus, you said you got something. What did you get?
Let's see. So, found the 4-pack.
Oh, nice. You finally got
wow.
That. With and the little guy. Cute.
Yep.
Gotta love hubcap. Or bumper. It's
This
bumper,
crappy thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that was like they
I'm
needed
getting that from
something.
my friend.
They needed that to fill out the price point, I think, because that's what everybody I know wants is to complete your Headmaster Juniors.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't do Toxitron instead of Nemesis. I think they're just on a Nemesis kick right now. But
this and Bumper were the only ones that I wanted, but they had the that's something that we can talk about when we start what we were just discussing with Ollie's and Ross and all that. This thing's like $95.
What is it?
The 4-pack.
The 4-pack.
Okay.
It's It's $89. But if you look at what the current cost of figures are, 25 Deluxes and 35 Voyagers, not counting the price increases.
Hang on. Oh. Because the last year's 4-pack was $79. So they've gone up. Now the good thing is that they had a 25% off and all that jazz and everything, so it knocked it back down. But
the jazz isn't in that set.
The thing that gets me is, like I went to Walmart today, first time I've been there in years, and I was looking to see if they had the sea spray or anything like that, and I found the Brawn, the toy accurate one, and I was like, I wouldn't be too bad to pick up, and I want to say it was $35.
Should have been $29.99 at most.
It might have been $30.
Yeah. Because they were 25 like regular deluxes, but there's been some price changes.
So I'm going to officially say it, and I've never said it before. They've priced me out. This new stuff is just, I'm not paying $30 for that little figure. I'm just not doing it. So, done with that. However, I will spend more money. And I picked up. Oh, he's so gorgeous.
Oh,
is that the Masterpiece or
that's the Masterpiece?
MPG? MPG.
Okay, because there is a fourth party of that.
I don't do fourth party.
I'm just saying there is.
I know there is. But the price I got this for at my not so local toy shop, but local enough, it was 30 minutes away. Guy was selling his masterpiece collection, and the store bought it, and I got this, and I was able to pick up the last 2 trains I needed.
Oh,
So finally, I have it complete after so long, and I now have no place to put it until I can finish the move. So it's sitting in the box. I have not even tried it yet because I got no place to put it.
and you want to make sure you got a lot of room when you combine those because
They take up a lot of room.
No, I just have not heard good things about the connections on those.
Yeah. Now there's a rumor out that they're going to do a kit to fix it. And I know that there are people out there that'll make the kits, but the rumor is that Hasbro is making something to fix it. But I don't know how true that is. Yeah, I think it's just rumors substantiated with the fact that they make kits for everything else.
Let's hope they do a better job than trying to fix the idea that they try to fix the last HasLab by just sending out a new figure with the same fix everybody else did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than I expected them to do, but at least they didn't ask for people to send it back, you know?
They did.
Right.
So they are asking you to send it back? Okay.
There are some people, Ben Yee. We all know Ben. I love Ben. Ben's been a part of the fandom. I would say if you use the word cornerstone, I think Ben is a cornerstone of the fandom, right up there with the Hartmans.
He's Ben's World of Transformers, right?
Yeah, bwtf.com.
I lived on that and Unicron.com, man, back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I believe he said that he was asked to send back his entire Optimus Prime, and all he received was the cap.
Neat.
So, yeah, there's some issues from what I understand.
Because I've seen a lot of people getting it and still having the old one even. And basically saying, you know, I have the spare parts.
Yeah. Apparently there is...
So maybe there's some miscommunications.
From what I have seen, I have 3 Omega Primes. I'm supposed to be getting replacements for them because all of them have the issues. Because one of them, when you try to move that waist, it is not going anywhere. So, but what I understand is they're shipping new figures that have already been sanded, like what we've seen people post videos.
Yeah, they basically did the modification before they assembled it.
And it's still not right because it's not sanded properly. So
to me, it's a knee-jerk reaction of trying to fix a problem that they started that they can't fix, and the fans are actually fixing it better than they can do. I understand they're just
and that's why I didn't
hit it against a sander to knock it off, but it's like the places that are assembling these really, it's a thing that's already been paid for. They're at a point now they're just like trying to get it over with so they can move on to the next thing.
Well, and that's where we go back to mine, and that's why I just ended up not acting on it, because mine was not a horrible, you know, it wasn't a horrible shoot, the word escaped me, but mine wasn't that bad. Like, it had a little hairline, it had a hairline crack in a very unnoticeable spot, that really only split a little bit while transforming, and so I wasn't too concerned about it getting a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
You can't even see it in robot mode. I was like, I'm not going to take the gamble on whatever, you know, this trade-in or this swap or this replacement is going to be, just because I didn't, like, I think I said it back then, I didn't trust them to do it right. And I would have been very upset if I got a worse one, you know, because at least I can live with the one I have.
I find it odd that they asked him to send the whole package back when it's only the cab that needed to be replaced.
Well, that was, I think, the initial thing, because I even watched stuff done with like TJ Omega, and there's several other YouTubers I followed that had the same issue, and some of them were told send the whole thing, and then all of a sudden they got another email almost directly afterward to, no, don't send anything. And some people missed that don't send anything email, and I think that's what's caused a lot of the confusion. But to be honest, for
I
this
guess,
thing to
but
be a
for
fan,
him to send a whole one and only
yeah,
get a cab back, I'd be a little miffed about that.
yeah. I mean, Hasbro doesn't have the best track record going on right now.
That one was such a needless fumble too. It's such a good set of figures. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it didn't need to be a black mark. It could have been a win.
So, like I said, I got all that stuff from the toy store, and then as I was leaving, I look down and I see something, and I'm like, "Oh, I want that. I don't need it, but I want that." And it kind of brings us into our non-toy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a comic.
Oh, which comic? Oh,
And no,
nice.
that's the Skybound,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But at a 9.8, and I just wanted it for the homage cover, and it wasn't that expensive. I mean, honestly, I think these things cost right around 30-35 bucks to encapsulate and grade and everything. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't much more than that,
That's not terrible.
but just a neat little, which brings me into the other thing I collect. But so kind of a little expensive weekend for me, um, but you figure uh, if you look on eBay, like the two trains and the Power Master Prime, or however you want to call him, um, the going rate on those is right around 550, sometimes close to 600. Because one of the trains I was missing was the first train, which seems to be the most expensive one,
Mm-hmm.
other than the six because of the gift set. And I came close to half that price.
Nice.
So,
That's a good deal.
Find those deals where you can.
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is that it was a Facebook post. So always check out your Facebook pages. If you have local, comic shops or whatever, follow them, because you never know when they throw stuff up like this.
Yeah. I know the comic shop that I work at, Back in Time Comics and Toys. There's a QR code there if you want to scan it. But they put up anytime they get anything new. There's always photos took and sometimes video put on their Facebook almost immediately, because there's a lot of people that want to know what they're getting in. Some of the stuff actually doesn't even get priced yet, but there have been times that people literally come in and they want to see the item like almost immediately after they post it, not even within like 24 hours sometimes. Um, Depends on what it is too. It's not just Transformers. Sometimes it's Silver Age, Golden Age comics. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they get in toys from like the 60s, which are really weird and obscure and cool because it's stuff you don't ever see. Um, like today, I was tasked to go through Micronauts. I haven't messed with Micronauts in a long time, and it was pretty fun. And I had to disassemble the battle cruiser. I actually had to completely disassemble the whole thing to see if I can get the motor to turn, because the motor was kind of seized up a little bit, but I got it working. And we had the box and everything. It's going to be at one of the shows he's going to be going to. He's going to be selling it. But it was really cool going through all the boxed Micronaut stuff just to see what I could put together. And I got several vehicles put together out of the bunch, but there were some stuff that I just have bits and pieces. I'm really close to finishing like a giant acroear. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. Um, it's a pretty cool robot, but it was missing quite a bit of the pieces. The thing was funny is I had 3 of the same leg, and then 1 opposite leg, but it was missing the top, like the thigh portion of that leg. And I'm like, the one piece that's keeping me from actually making this thing stand up, I don't have. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been familiar with Micronauts, but it's basically like a deluxe, insane version of a Lego set because you've got pieces that can combine in so many different ways. It's insane. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very difficult line to try to collect, mainly because of how many times it was rebranded. Because it wasn't
I was
just
gonna say they have the reissues and the commemorative
right.
and the at least 2 toy lines.
Well,
So
even
yeah,
back in the 80s, it was rebranded, not just as Micronauts. I forget what they called it over here. I think they call them interchangeables or something like that's what they call them here in the States. But they took the same toy, just put it in a different box, and sometimes they changed the color of it. There's a few of the where you have like um, Biotron. I'm sure you guys have seen Biotron before. Um, but the color variant I've seen that they have over here in the States, he's got like a purple chest with like yellow
the red,
arms and
white, and blue.
legs. Yeah. Instead of the standard red, white, and blue. So I mean there are differences in some of this stuff. And I think it's an interesting toy line because Micronauts, Microman, and Diaclone are all like fed down into the whole Transformers chain. And it's crazy how some of that kind of interconnects. And I even say almost some of the Micronaut stuff kind of in a way influences GI Joe because the way GI Joe's articulation was a lot like Microman. So it's crazy. It really is kind of nuts how a lot of those toy lines almost kind of blend together, and the engineering is insane. Like the battle cruiser or the battleship that I put together to attach the motorized part that has the battery pack, it's magnetic. It just clicks together. It's not like an actual like thing you have to pull loose or anything like that. And we're talking about a toy made in 1977. Like, where are these toys now? That's what I'm thinking. Like, they had this technology back then that's so simple and easy to do, but why aren't they doing it now? Is it because it's too expensive? I don't think so. I just think it's just because a lost art in some ways of running.
I guess
Yeah,
it's a lost art.
it is. I think it is in the lost art because if you look at like electronics that you get nowadays, and like Apple had all like the magnetic connection, so you can plug your Mac in and it's a magnetic connection and it slaps right in. Who else is doing that? Nobody. Think about it toy wise. When's the last time you've seen that? You know, it's one of those things that's really kind of a strange engineering thing. And that's what I'm saying, like getting into collecting different things other than Transformers. I mean, my 2 gets, I got a couple comic books from Gene Roddenberry's. This is the number 1 and number 2. I'm going to probably end up getting the rest of these because these are actually pretty interesting. And I just walked in the shop and the owner was going through these and he was like, "Hey, you want these?" I was like, "Sure, I'll take them." So he gave them to me. So gets me a new comic to get into reading. So Lost Universe. I've never read these, so something interesting. It's something different. And it's just like with our collecting habits, like what other collecting habits do you guys get into whenever it comes to some of this stuff? Like other than just comic books and just the toys and such, like what else like really influences you want to get into this kind of thing?
Well, we hit on it already with comics.
Yeah.
I collect comics.
What about
I
you,
do more
Don?
so than toys anymore.
Well, there's a lot of lines that I collect. Some Marvel Legends, I cherry pick the characters I want because most of my characters are very C and D listers. So when I get a figure, I definitely want to pick them up. Same thing for the McFarlane DC. There are some characters that I like. McFarlane scale has never really bothered me, but with there being a 7-inch scale versus a Marvel Legends 6-inch scale, it does kind of stand out. But you can work around that. Like last week, I picked up Golden Age Sandman from McFarlane because it's the freaking Justice Society. I mean, for heaven's sakes, it's one of the greatest teams of all time. Um, One line that I'm currently collecting that I did not collect before a couple of years ago, and Megamus can probably chime in on this. I think G.I. Joe Classified.
No, yeah.
Classified has walked up, grabbed me by the collar, slam me against the wall, and say, "Buy me, or I will break your teeth." And I'll say, "No problem," because it's one of the few lines.
And coerced.
Huh?
I said he's been coerced.
Of
I
course.
know, right?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. It's actually one of the few lines I think you get your money's worth for the most part. Because if you look at your regular Marvel Legends figure, you look at your Star Wars Black Series figure, you'll get a figure. If it's a Jedi or a Sith, you might get a lightsaber. If it's a character from Marvel that has some kind of effects part, and that's pretty much it. Now, I am betting there's a lot of licensing involved from Hasbro having to pay, which does trickle down to affecting what they can put in these figures at the $25 to $30 price point.
Mm-hmm.
With Hasbro owning G.I. Joe, I'm sure a lot of that is negated or reduced because there's no licensing fees. But if you look at your standard G.I. Joe classified figure, you'll get guns, binoculars, gloves, whatever is appropriate. So you really feel like you're getting your money's worth. The sculpt is great in most cases, Lieutenant Falcon notwithstanding. Derpy from MLP called and wants her eyes back. You get a sense of like this is the best figure they can do at this price point, and I'm all in it. I did not collect Real American Hero growing up. I had a friend that did. I never collected 3 3/4 GI Joe. I have a couple. I have a couple of favorites. Like Fast Straw is my favorite because the man, his sidearms are missiles. It's like he wears missile launchers on his arms. It's like you can't not love that. My favorite vehicle is the Arctic Blast, just because it's absolutely so incredibly weird. But classified, I just feel like you get a good looking line. This is what all $25 lines are like, you know? Only the line that I'm currently collecting that has a similar feel is the Jada Street Fighter.
Oh, nice.
Like,
Let me ask you something, just on a side note to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's just something that popped in my head. Because I collected Real American Hero, and when they first came out, and price point on those was $2.99, $3.99, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
so less than $5. Which would roughly be, with inflation and everything, I don't know the math, let's just say $12, $10. Okay.
pretty math.
And then you see the classified, and you remember, man, when we used to play with our G.I. Joes, and he had like a little knife on his chest, you had to pretend that the knife came out, and you could put.
Yeah.
This one does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or the little grenades on his hip, whatever.
Yeah.
They come out. They're there. It comes with so much stuff, and this is where we're getting into price point. Okay.
Yeah.
So with inflation and everything, the prices that you pay on the classifieds, unless they go up,
which they are,
I think right now they're pretty fair.
Yeah.
Now you take that same thing to back when Transformers came out, and I got Bumblebee, and it was $4 or $5.99, $6. Once again, probably about a $10 or a $12 with inflation or whatever. I'm not paying $30 plus for the same daggone toy.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I'm
think
afraid that if classified bumps up, they may price themselves out.
right because they are going like this current wave that just went up for pre-order was Lifeline, Big
Yeah.
Lob. That wave
Right.
is now running 27 to 29 most places. So there is that. But I think we can say about classified what we said about Transformers. It's like Missing Link. We brought this up in our group text.
Yep.
I apologize.
It's okay.
Wheel
Man.
Network. The G.I. Joe classified that we're getting now are what we thought. I would say, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong here. These figures we're getting now is what people thought they were when you had RAH. It's kind of like, the stuff the knife couldn't come out, the grenades couldn't come off, but you still played and you still enjoyed them. Now you're kind of getting that.
It's kind of like when I collected 3 3/4. I never got into the 12-inch line, but I always thought it was neat of all the accessories they had.
Oh yeah,
And boom, we got them both. We get them both, and then some of the stuff is just insane. Like low light. Oh my gosh, it's like 17 pieces in his little gun case to put his rifle together. It's awesome. Just neat stuff. So they keep hitting it out of the park. Now they mark my words. They're getting ready to do what is it?
the Arctic Hiss.
Arctic Hiss. Thank you.
Yes.
And those molds have already been paid for. So it's just a recolor and 2 different pieces put together. The price point should be less.
They're not supposed to have
Let's
electronics
see if they
either,
milk
from what I
it.
heard.
See if they milk it.
Well, the thing is, I watched the live stream where they showed it off as far as it officially exists, because they referenced it in the Snowcat,
right?
All that kind of stuff,
right?
But they didn't say how I'm guessing it's made to order like some of the other stuff they're doing, which is like they're higher than general solicitations, but not your HasLabs. It's like order the Sentinel.
What was that called? The Pulse. They came in the brown boxes for Transformers.
Plus. Yeah, Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's similar to that.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in the Arctic Hiss. Again, I had to buy my original Hiss after, because I wasn't collecting classified at the time, and then I saw how incredible that Hiss looked, and I was like, I will find one that's affordable, and then Dononomics hit on the backside, and I was able to do that to some degree. So I only wound up paying about $80 more than what it was retail once I worked a little bit of magic on it. But even the vehicles, I mean, the Snowcat, with it hitting all 3 tiers, which I wasn't quite sure it was going to do, to be honest. It was touch and go there for a while. It's pricey. But look at how much you're getting with this set, with all the tiers. Now, if it was just the 1 tier, just the vehicle and all that, I would feel the value was not quite there, which is the whole reason they do these tiers and stuff anyway. But that's a whole other conversation. But I want to see how much it is. If there's no electronics and it's already an existing mold, as you said, it should be better. Even with what's changed in the collecting environment from the HasLab Hiss to now. But we gotta wait and see.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I know the driver they have for it is like a whole brand new figure. So that is part of the funding
Right,
should be
but
going toward that too. But,
correct. But like when you look at the HISS tank in general when it first came out,
mhm,
I mean, part of the thing is that everyone's pledging to get these, but you're paying for the tooling. Well, that's already been done.
mhm.
Right. But
So
still,
okay, give us an extra figure, give us extra accessories and everything, but ultimately, come on, give me a little something back in the pocketbook here.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. Like, to me, if I was going to get into classified, I would probably end up wanting Tiger Force, and I would love to see the Rattler done in the Tiger Force.
Oh,
I love that thing, but
Yeah.
that thing is enormous.
Hmm.
My hat goes off
Mhm.
to the people that can collect those. But if I had
Yeah.
room to collect that scale, I definitely would be all over them if they were all Tiger Force vehicles.
Well, without getting too far into the weeds on this, but I think this could be its own topic by
Yeah,
itself.
it can.
If the Arctic Hiss is successful and it's at a price point that most people find agreeable in general, with them already redoing a HasLab in another flavor, that's going to open the door to do other HasLabs
Possibly.
possibly. Again, you've got licensing restraints and all that on other properties. Like you couldn't get a G2 colored Jabba sail barge.
No.
I mean, there's limits and stuff like that.
But you know what they might end up getting?
Hmm.
Black Unicron.
I do not see them revisiting Unicron. Not any. And if
I
they
think
did,
that was so close.
yeah,
I don't
that
know.
was,
They're going to
and
risk
that
it.
was before. That was 3 years ago, give or take. And
Have
that's
you seen the
before-
size of that box?
It's
Yes,
enormous.
it's in the box in my storage building.
Well,
But
yeah. It was, oh my god.
Arctic Hiss opens the door for revisiting HasLabs with recolors and redecos, hopefully at a more affordable price.
Yeah, we
especially
can
the
get Sam's Club Omega Prime.
Oh, God.
Or the black
let's-
variant ones that are really rare to get hold of.
Yeah, I mean, like if they did a new Unicron, they would probably do the Energon black and green.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I was referring to.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Because I know there was a black Lucky.
Would you have to
No,
get
it's
that,
green.
Jason? Get that as the as G2 Unicron.
Dude, let's put it this way. I have been on the fence when it comes to buying that particular Unicron, and I also kind of want to get that very last version of Primus that they had come out with all that kind of neon orange sticking
Oh
out.
yeah,
'Cause I'm like,
the toys.
those
That was the
two
Toys
would
R
be
Us.
amazing for Generation 2. If I could find them affordable, I would buy them. But they're
The actual
really
Energon
pricey.
one. Well, yeah. I mean, the Unicron trilogy stuff has a very dedicated group of collectors.
Mm-hmm.
Followers.
Yeah.
It does. So
And I think
I could see them
and
easily
that was one of the
doing
nice things
Unicron
about
like that.
Hasbro. Yeah, that was one of the nice things about Hasbro doing. I at least think they did most of the Armada stuff in the Classics line or in the Generations line pretty well by sticking to what they should look like. You know, where they really fumbled the ball with the Prime stuff and the and even the animated stuff.
Yeah, I like some of the animated stuff, but some of it is just like it doesn't hit like the original figures did. Like the engineering, the articulation is a little better, but I mean the black magic that they used in those animated figures to make them look like a character off the screen and turn into the vehicle was insane. And I
mean, there was a few
the newer
turds
stuff
like
are just like it's not there.
I would really like for them to, and it was because they started off with. I really liked the Generations animated Prow. but it was more like a animated Prowl if he fit in with a G1 shelf, right?
Mhm.
It really wasn't a remake. It really wasn't trying to target that animated look, which
I got the
then
animated feel out of it.
I mean,
100%.
it hasn't more than buying a G1 Prowl, but it definitely was not leaning as heavy into it. Like the jaw wasn't as long, or um, proportions were a little more normal. I still liked it. It was a really fun toy. And then Bumblebee and Prime came out, and they kind of went a little more into the animated style, but they still weren't quite all the way. And it was just like it was at least better than anything they did with the Prime stuff. The Prime stuff, they really botched that stuff, but it was just it wasn't really what I wanted. Wanted something that was more like the Armada stuff. The Armada stuff was just like, let's give them really good representations with articulation. Um, but yeah, this my little rant, I guess, about anime. I want them to do we need a better Sentinel Prime. That was one of the few exceptions in the original toy line that just the toy did not do
Right.
justice.
So I know you collect Godzilla and Ultraman and such, but what else do you collect other than like that kind of things, like things that you probably haven't even talked about?
Oh man. I mean, it's mostly kaiju stuff, video game stuff. Like I got a bunch of Halo and I got some Destiny stuff over there. I do a lot of anime stuff, but that's kind of been trying to kind of dial that back down. I basically just anything that I like, I end up collecting something of it, right? That's just kind of my. I think that's a lot of our personalities, right? Is
Mhm.
I like it, I want to collect something from it. But the big thing I stick to is really kaiju. Godzilla kicked it off. I loved Godzilla as a kid, and that stuck with me. And then started collecting. Got a little bit of Gamera, a little bit of Evangelion, Ultraman, Gridman. Um, got some Pacific Rim stuff.
Oh, I love Pacific Rim. Such
Yeah,
an underrated thing. I love it.
It's got monsters. If it's got giant monsters in it, I probably have some interest in it. Um, I have a couple of I picked up the Power Ranger, um the what is it? I can't remember what it's called. Something project, the Zord project thing
Hmm.
from Hasbro. I got the original, or I got original for us the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Megazord and the Dragon Zord, but I'm kind of all over the place with my other stuff. I kind of just lump it all into anime because I don't heavily collect. I think the one franchise I heavily collect that from an anime franchise is there's a series called Fate, which is a bunch of video games and anime series. And I have like a whole cabinet full of that stuff, but um, yeah, I just have like odds and ends all over the place. It's not a very focused collection outside of the areas where it's focused.
I can understand that. I mean, I myself,
right.
yeah, I can completely agree with that because I mean, I collect a lot of
I mean, I even
Transformers,
have.
but I still collect Hot Wheels.
I
Oh,
picked
what
this
the
up
heck?
at Disney. It's from the Star Wars land. I planned on giving it to my nephew, but I've kept it so far because it has some pokey bits, like those horns. I don't want him to poke his eyes out, but I had to buy it when I heard that noise. But he's still too young to have it. I'll give it to him someday.
Does your dog try to get that because of that?
No, my dog is weird. He doesn't like toys that make noise.
Oh, he doesn't like the squeaky noise.
Never been into him. He likes chew bones. And he likes tennis balls. Like he just likes to pull the fluff off of them.
What about yours, Brett? Do they like squeaky toys?
Oh yes. They will destroy it. And then when the squeaky's gone, it's nothing. I will throw it away. It's nothing.
My dog will
Anything
gut.
else?
My dog will gut a stuffed animal. So
Oh yeah, they all do.
yeah.
Just rip it out.
Hmm?
But the other thing that I collect is something that I actually like more than Transformers. Robotech. Robotech's my number one. Sorry, hands down, a better cartoon.
Mhm.
Not so much a better comic. And the toy line was set to be spectacular, and it wasn't.
Do you have
You
a
know,
Do you have a SDF1?
I do.
Do you have the bridge playset too?
I do not. I was never able to find one. That's one thing.
Oh, you
But
would
it always
have.
killed me was they came out with the figures. I got all the figures and love them. And then we never got Veritex. We got one that the figures would fit in,
Hmm.
but it doesn't transform. Now,
Yeah,
what is that? And
it's
then
because they had to
well,
stop
we got
mid engineering.
then we got Southern Cross. Oh look, we got a Cyclone, but it doesn't transform. And then we'll give you a transforming one, but it's 9 inches tall instead of the 3 3/4 inch. So you start looking at all the ones that were in Japan, either made by I'm trying to remember the name of the company. It begins with Marashui. Anyway, it's the Jetfire molds.
Hmm.
Before Bandai picked them up, and they came in various amounts of colors, and then you could do that, and then Yamato did the 1/48 scale, which to me is the perfect scale. If you look at like Masterpiece Jetfire
Hmm.
from Transformers compared to like Masterpiece Prime and everything, and you put a 1/48 scale next to it, 1/48 looks way better. Just amazing. And so getting those, and those are, I mean, they run anywhere 175 up. They're not cheap. So it was a smaller line, and especially in the 80s was a lot easier to collect. But to me, the story and everything was so much better. It just hooked me. So to me, Robotech was number one.
Did you get the books? The sets where they actually you pull it out and it looks like a book and you open it up and the robot and everything's in there. Do you have
Oh
those?
yeah. I started those because the first so many came with a cell,
Hmm.
and I had a few of the cells, and I did some of those, but I wound up selling the Veritex themselves just because the quality wasn't that good. They were very thin plastic. They broke a lot. The tabs were not very well done. I think the best part of that whole thing, other than the presentation of the book, which is amazing, which I still believe Takara stole for their book style, and was the cells. The cells were a great idea. And if you got all five of them, they would actually make a mural because they overlapped, and it would be all five of the characters lined up. Really neat idea.
Hey, Megan, you mentioned Robotech. I wasn't going to bring this up because I wasn't sure if it was, but I thought I would also pick this up.
Oh, that
And
is
which one
sick.
is that?
This is the Mosho.
Is that 1/6 scale?
Uh, roughly, yes. It's the Cyclone armor.
Mm-hmm. It's a Scott Bernard armor.
Yeah, and I picked this up because I had some credit at BBTS, and it was about $80 less than the next cheapest place. And the Cyclone armor has always, this and the hover tank have
Hover Tag
probably,
was neat.
yeah,
Hover
have
Tag,
probably
and that
been,
actually did transform from the
yeah.
original.
My original one broke, but I do have like the gray spotted version they did for another line that I'll be bringing up here in just a little bit when we talk about it.
Begins
But
with a
this
P.
begins with E.
I thought they used that in BattleTech.
Not the hover tank. Not that I know of. It was used in another line that
Oh, the other one. Yeah.
yeah, that I'll mention. But the Cyclone armor, I have the original Toynami one from a couple years ago. I've never opened it because I was told the QC on that was a little rough. I got a really good deal on it, and I thought I don't really care. But then I heard some other things about it. At this point, all of the soft goods are probably completely rotted. It's frozen in the clamshell, so it's staying there. But this one, it just looks great, and I've always wanted to actually transforming Cyclone armor, so I did pick this up. I think they still had them in stock. I'll try to send you a link if they still do.
I'm looking at one right now just to see what it is. I mean,
Okay.
I got my, the 9-inch Scott Bernard in the package, and I've had those loose before. And the transformation on that, even though the articulation is limited on the figure itself, the core figure, the transformation is way beyond its years for an 80s toy, if you've ever seen one. I mean, it literally is the backpack, the Cyclone, and it has a hook that hooks onto its back, and then the whole Cyclone just flips up, and you can transform it on the figure, just like in the show. Now I'm looking at this, and this one is definitely more detailed, definitely more posable with the figure itself. I would like to see how the transformation is. I'd have to look at a review on it, but it is definitely nice looking.
Yeah,
And
there's
I
a
wouldn't put
there's
it
a
at-
link in our internal chat, and there's also several videos on YouTube showing the transformation, because I watched that before I bought it to make sure it's something that I could do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a solid figure.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
pretty sick.
my love
I
for
like that.
Robotech is just out there. It was so good. It was, even the storyline to me was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I do
me,
have go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, it's the theme. The theme
It
just
was amazing.
was just, and for all the people that give Robotech a really rough time about being how it was created from 3 different looking shows.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of brilliance to try something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it be as successful and as memorable as it is now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very true.
And the one I'm talking about is the one made by Gakken. That's the 9-inch, and they also did all the alphas, which the alphas were amazing for their time also. And they also did the book style for those too as well.
I've still only watched what would have been Macross. I haven't watched the the other 2 seasons.
You can watch them all 3 together, or you can watch them individually.
Yeah.
They work just as well.
Yeah, I like when they do shows that you can kind of jump into each different one instead of just have to watch everything in order. Because I think that's
because it was they did what? It was Macross and then Mospita and then what was the third
Southern
one? That
Cross. Southern Cross.
Southern Cross Next Generation, or Generations. No, New Generation, I think. Anyway, that's what it was. But yeah, see, I'm just the opposite. I hated Transformers in that you watched an episode and in the next episode they say something that contradicts what happened the episode before, because there was no continuity there. With Robotech, there was. If you watched all of Macross, anything that happened in the first episode to be talked about in the 5th and related to, because it was sequential. And it was
I mean, there was definitely a difference between Japanese animation and American animation at the time. Just they were cartoons were were toy commercials, right?
Yeah, and the Japanese actually,
Storytelling.
yeah, they were doing storytelling, and they weren't talking down to the kids and thinking the kids wouldn't understand stuff.
It's very true.
Not that it didn't do that, because
I
all
mean-
of Voltron, all of Power Rangers, all that stuff, that's Japanese influence, and it wasn't sequential for the most part.
Well, yeah,
They did, but
yeah, you taught like when they Americanized Voltron was just not anywhere as
Hey.
good as the original.
Well, a lot of the tokusatsu stuff
I don't know.
was very
I love,
episodic.
believe me, I love Voltron. It's just what they did with the American side. It kind of made it not as impactful, I should say, as the Japanese storyline was. If that makes any sense.
I have had a strong desire to collect just mecha from different anime and stuff. Like I have really wanted to get a really nice, at least a couple of the Valkyries Veritex from that first season of Macross, because I really enjoyed that.
Depends on what aesthetics you want. I could tell you which ones to get.
Yeah. I just have never landed on one throughout the years, and then there's just like so many other I did start doing. I have a couple of figures from various mechas that I collected when I was really starting to watch a bunch of mecha anime. And it quickly grew out of hand where I was like, if I wanted to buy every mecha I wanted, I'd spend so much money.
Now,
and
you talk about mecha, and there is an upcoming Kickstarter. I'm still doing some research on it, but apparently Dan over at Secret Galaxy, Toy Galaxy, knows about it or has backed it or has verified it.
Okay.
Mighty Orbots.
Oh, no way. That'll be sick. God, I can't wait.
Yeah. There's probably not many robot properties out there that need honest to God toys than Mighty Orbots.
Well, I mean, Mighty Orbots was based on Godmax.
Yeah, God Mars.
God Mars, yeah. And God Mars is really cool. I actually like the design of that robot. I thought of Godmax because the what was it? The one from Brave series.
Yeah.
You guys probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm brain dead, not working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, it's like, to me, with like all the other like toy lines that come out, like I loved Shogun Warriors, and I still do. I think Mazinger was awesome. Grandizer's cool. I was really into like just that design because it's kind of like smoother robots. They're not so blocky, and I don't know. They almost had like an organic side to them, which was kind of interesting, especially for the time period when that came out, because that wasn't really like looked at as like a big thing. Like, to me, it kind of reminded me of a more advanced version of Astro Boy. Kind of just the design of the robots and such, which I thought was really interesting. So, I mean, I don't know. I've always gotten to that, and like, seeing like stuff like God Mars and then, Voltron and all that stuff. Just the way all that kind of meshes together. It's almost like you could build a whole shelf of that, and it almost looks like it could be the same universe almost in a lot of ways.
And then there's stuff like because you're kind of talking about Astro Boy, and then through all that, like I have been so tempted by a lot of the Solid Shogun stuff because they have basically all the mecha throughout from the very first mecha anime all the way through, and you literally have display shelves that is just like a timeline of mecha. And you can watch something like that, like watch it go from what was it? I can't remember the name of it, but watch it go to Mazinger, watch it go to
well, you had Transwar
Ultron, watch it go to
Z, you had Mazinger.
Yeah.
The and the funny thing about that is what I remember about those is it never really had a cartoon that had like a bunch of episodes. And I remember growing up when you get ready for school, I'd have like a half hour before school started. I could watch TV, and they did a half hour, and they randomly picked if it was Grandizer, Transor Z, whatever, and you just watched one episode of it, but you never knew who it was going to be, and it would constantly change. And I thought that was neat because you got to see all the different ones. You never really got to, you know, see enough of it where you knew a whole, lot. Not like Transformers. That's Bumblebee over there, and that's this. You had one main character, and then you had the show, and then next week or the next day, you had a different character and the show. Yeah, and I love those. I would love to see someone do something along the Poppy scale of those again, because right now I've owned those before. Those are outrageously priced,
Yeah,
and they don't do anything.
you're talking
They
the
don't
little
even move.
smaller die-cast ones, right?
No, the Poppy scale I'm talking are like the 24-inch.
Oh, the jumbos.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they don't do anything. They barely move.
Yeah, Super Seven's done a few jumbos, but they're so expensive.
Yeah.
The few that Super 7 did, they did one that was a Mecha Godzilla, which the shop actually has some still, but it is done in the same style that the Godzilla was from that Shogun Warrior line. And it actually has, the missiles that actually fire off from its fingertips. And the funny thing is those same missiles will actually work in Mazinger. We've tried it before.
Yeah.
It works. It's
Let me
backward
ask you this.
compatible, which is amazing.
I mean, see if you remember. You remember Grandizer,
Hmm.
Mazinger. Do you happen to remember Dangered Ace?
Yes.
To me, I thought he was the coolest.
I always
I
liked
just
Radine. Radine
Yeah,
was mine. I liked
Radine.
him with his bow.
Yeah.
So cool.
But yeah,
Don,
that'd
did
be
you
another
ever get
neat line.
into any of the Shogun Warrior stuff ever?
I had an opportunity 1992 or 3 when I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina. A friend of mine ran a toys booth at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. He had a complete set, near complete set of all 4 Shogun Warriors, counting Godzilla. Each of them was like 95% complete. 3 of them had the boxes. $500.
That's a steal.
Again, this was 1993. That was the equivalent of 1 month worth of rent for me because rent was very expensive even then. So I did not have the money. Did I want to? Oh yeah, I would have sold the other 3 and kept the Godzilla because it was the fish shooting version with the little lever that the tongue stuck out with the flame.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But could have, should have, didn't. No.
You know they made a Rodan, right?
No, I
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have a
did not
Rodan.
know that.
They have a
It's
Rodan.
it's not. I don't believe it was made by the same company, and it's more rubbery, but it is to scale.
It's completely in scale.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. I always thought it was neat. I really
It's
wish
funny. I think I had 5 of them, most of them in the box, but I never had Godzilla.
Hmm.
I had all the others.
I think it'd been cool if they would have did a King Ghidorah. I would have loved if they did that. Like I don't understand why Super 7 hasn't tried to do a King Ghidorah in that scale. Like everybody, like who the heck is not going to buy one of those?
I mean, I would. The Godzilla sat at clearance for a long time on web shops. I just don't think that there's a in a market of Funko Pop collectors. There's not a whole lot of space for Shogun Warriors.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's
they don't put out the numbers, and like because even then, like Super 7, they do a lot of stuff, and they do a lot of stuff that is very niche. Um, but at the end of the day, their bread and butter, I think, is really the ultimates and the reaction lines, and everything else seems to usually just be kind of um, short-lived passion projects that they charge an arm and a leg for. You pay a Super 7 tax whenever you buy Super 7.
That's very true.
That's why probably 85% of my Super 7 stuff have all been on discount. I have maybe out of all the Super 7 I have, maybe 8 figures I paid retail for because I knew I would not see them again anytime soon.
I mean, I myself, I've always wanted, because I never had the Godzilla Shogun Warrior one, so I did buy the smaller Super 7 one.
Yeah, like the
That-
reaction.
Yeah, and
I
it
think they
was
also did
on
an
a
Ultimate.
card. If
Yeah,
I can
right.
ever find one, because I know they have them, where they have them in this like the little tiny, it looks like the tiny little box they used to come into, just like the other Shogun Warriors did. If I can ever find that one, I would probably get rid of the one I have, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, I've got the small reaction Godzilla. That's from the pinball game.
Mhm.
It's because one thing about Godzilla is Toei does not like Hanna-Barbera Godzilla. From what I've been told by
Toho.
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 They view that as that was a then us. Now us doesn't acknowledge it even exists. So
But who doesn't want a Godzuki? I mean, come on.
Oh, it was it was Mattel that did the Shogun Warrior styled Rodan.
Yeah, I just think it'd be
Or
cool.
yeah, Rodan.
It'd be neat to see.
What Don was saying, like Toho is weird with some of that stuff. Like every time they do something Godzilla 98 related, it sells really well. But they won't do a Monster Arts figure.
yeah, and in the movie that Godzilla got like stomped on in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, in Final Wars. But see, they could release the
Best
Godzilla
movie ever.
98, and then they can remold it into Final Wars, and then they could do an SDCC release of it as Godzilla Jr. from the animated series. It's like, and it would all sell. Like, there's a generation of people my age that acknowledge that it was a crappy movie and love it to death.
Well, you have to remember, during that time, we had a lovely company called Trendmasters that did amazing toys.
I miss
And
Trendmasters.
One of the toy lines I got into during that time, and Cyburn, this may be the set that you were talking about, because you're talking about tiny little figures. Do you ever remember War Planets?
Yes.
I had
Shadow Raiders.
Shadow Raiders. Yes. They had larger figures, like a few of them, but most of their things were tiny little planets that opened up, kind of like Polly Pocket or Mighty Max. And they had tons of little bitty rubber figures. Some of the figures weren't actually rubber, but they had firing missiles. These things were riddled with gimmicks. And the
Yeah,
big, gigantic planet could actually eat the smaller planets.
yeah. It
Such
was.
an underrated toy line.
Well, the problem is though, the toy line didn't really match up to the cartoon, which was done by Mainframe.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoon was very, very character focused and not as focused on the planets as the toy line did. But if you imported some of the figures from Canada, you got Jade and Graveheart and a Pyrus from the Fire Planet.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different in Canada, where they marketed the toys based on the cartoon, but the U.S. it was like, oh, here's these planets fighting each other, and the cartoon really had no bearing on the toy line.
This is what
But
was very funny.
I am a huge Shadow Raiders fan. To me, it still holds up. If you look at Reboot from
Mm-hmm.
Mainframe, yes, it does not hold up, and you would expect it to, being the very first CGI generated cartoon. You wouldn't expect it to hold up to something done today, obviously. But if you look at how good Beast Wars looked with their progression in season 2 and season 3, and
It's
you
night and day from season 1 to season 3.
Mm-hmm.
exactly, and then you take those later Beast Wars seasons and apply that to Shadow Raiders, you've got a show thematically, characterly, it just still holds up.
Yeah, I've seen, actually, if you look on YouTube, you can actually watch the whole thing if you look it up. Some people actually have it uploaded, which is amazing. Considering to me, it's one of those pieces of lost media. Because the other thing,
I had never heard of the cartoon before, to be honest with you.
did you
Oh
have the
God,
toys?
I have the feeling that I have juxtaposed multiple tiny playset lines into one playset line that doesn't exist in my head.
Mhm.
Because some of this looks familiar. Some of the stuff you talked about earlier, I was digging through, looked familiar. Some of the micro machine, like micro sets.
What about Mega Force?
And I have a feeling I kind of just warped them all together.
Yeah. But what was cool about this, not just because there was a cartoon, not because there was a toy line. Did you know there was a video game?
Uh-huh.
There was a PC video game that I had for that, and it was like a turn-based strategy game, and it was fun.
And for our younger viewers, PC means personal computer, not politically correct.
Exactly.
Just so that way you know there's not any confusion there.
Right. But yeah, if you want a chance to ever try to play that game, just look up War Planets on Internet Archive. And they actually have it so you can actually play it on the Internet Archive website. It is crazy. And the animation, everything there
War
looks
Planets
like
Age of Chaos is what
yeah.
it's called.
It's so fun. It is a total blast from the past. If you want like a taste of the 90s video game aesthetic, that is a game to get into. But I just think it's interesting how that toy line did not last that long, but it had like so many different kind of prototypes. I don't know if you ever seen the prototypes that were never released. Some of them were pretty crazy that they had for. They had one of the vehicles they had was like a gigantic, kind of like a scorpion that folded out. It was insane. And then you had this one that was like supposed to be like a transport for like the planet Bone that opened up in like different compartments. And it looked like a gigantic like rolling rock egg or something. It was nuts. Like Trendmasters was not afraid to do some interesting stuff. That's one thing I have to say. Trendmasters.
Their Godzilla line was weird.
Dude, their
but it had
Godzilla
some
line
amazing stuff in it.
It was weird, but it was cool. Like some of the Godzilla figures they had armor that you put on them. Godzilla had armor with missiles that fired.
Well, that's kind of why. Hold on, let me grab it.
Do you have
You
that?
know,
Oh my gosh,
I,
if he has
I
that.
hate to I hate to burst your bubble,
Hmm.
but most of the Trendmaster stuff and everything I remember,
Hmm.
I saw at
That's
Toys R Us, and it was in what I called the junk aisle between the action figures and the video games. They had an aisle that was the junk, so it had like game type stuff and other stuff they had no place for,
Hmm.
so they threw it in the junk aisle. And I
Look at
remember
the
seeing
aftermarket on
that.
some of that Trendmaster stuff,
Oh, I know. But
especially the
Oh,
Voltron,
it's
especially the Voltron stuff.
yeah.
also remember this, and this is a word of wisdom. If you see stuff in clearance, chances are that's the stuff people are going to collect in the future because no one bought it.
and
Well,
it's gonna
also,
all go to a landfills. What and
and also in places like Ross is. We mentioned this earlier. Ross is kind of like KB in the fact that most toy lines have a final wave. Many of
Mhm.
those toy lines' final wave does not go to retailers. Two
Yeah.
years ago, the Walmart capsule that included that Cosmos wound up going to Ross because for some reason it did not go to Walmart for the most part, and what did was not the entire wave. To this day, we have no idea what really we can guess, and we can make assumptions based on what we know about the
Now,
industry.
now
But
don't take what I said to complete heart because I also saw an Ollie's with probably 10,000 Marvel Legends Gamora, and you're
every
not
Ollie
going
is
to make money off that.
no,
Okay. At some
yeah,
point, they just made too much.
yeah, it's made too much.
the 200 Beast Wars reissue pterosaurs. the
Well, let's look at
They do
Star
make for a
Trek.
good custom figure, though.
Star Trek figures. They're
Yeah.
still dirt cheap. Still dirt cheap, like the ones from the 90s, like the Star Trek: The Next
Playmates,
Generation.
Yeah,
playmates.
You can
Playmates,
get them
yeah.
a dime a dozen, like
Yep.
on card, not just loose, on card, complete mint card, and they're still dirt cheap. It's because they were overproduced. But
Yes, and they ticked off the collectors.
yeah,
So you broke a cardinal rule there. When you've got people out there that they do the Pokemon, got to catch them all, and then you make a figure that's so limited, you just ticked off the whole community,
Well, Galoob
and they
did
learned
that.
the hard way.
Yeah, Galoob did that with their 1701. Because they had a couple of, like, I think Wesley, a version of Data, and Tasha Yar were like in these outfits were 1701
Well, it
base
was
figures.
Playmates. Playmates did.
Oh,
They
they did
did.
that.
Yeah, Playmates did Picard and Tasha Yar
Yeah, it
and
was Playmates, not Galoob. That's my fault.
and what's his name? And what's his name? And they did those three in 1701, limited to 1,701 figures. And then they found out that people were just going against it and they're horrible and everything. So then they upped it. Natasha Yar was 3,000 instead of 1701. And the other one, which I cannot remember, I can picture his face. He was the guy with the transporter thing.
Was it Jordy?
No, they called him. Oh, Reginald Barkley.
Reginald
Barkley.
Oh yeah, Barkley.
Barkley,
Yeah.
yeah.
So those two were up to 3,000, and it still didn't help. So then what did they do? Then they came out with two other figures that were. I'm trying to remember. It was another store exclusive, and they were limited to 5,000 each. And one of them was the Doctor from Voyager, and they kept making the wrong decisions, and all it did was just tick off the whole community to where people were just dumping their collections.
Mhm.
It was that bad. It was that bad.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy out there that just loves Lucky Draw, I'm sorry, but you're going to have a heck of a ride.
Yeah.
So,
um, not trying to be unsubtle, which I don't do very well. But do we want to talk about our other topic tonight, or save that for another time?
We can talk about it tonight if you want.
Okay.
I was just going to bring up, we were talking earlier about the
Okay.
Trendmaster stuff. That's kind of what I loved about Playmates making these. Is it kind of reminded me of that weird stuff that they used to do back then with the Godzilla stuff with this
The body
heck
horror.
yeah, that would have been in the junk
Titan-Tech
aisle.
armor stuff, right?
That was in the junk aisle.
Yeah, Rodan with pointless armor. This right here is one of my favorite figures. I will never part with this thing because it cracks me up that he has a mic. Like, who the hell is listening to this guy roar into a microphone?
I see that. The
It's
only
the
thing I see
best
is
thing in the world.
all I see is Spawn. What was it? Cygor,
Yeah. Yeah.
the robot, the cybernetic gorilla.
Yeah, I remember
That's what I
that
see
guy.
when I see that. That
Next
thing was
on,
cool.
next on Epic Rap Battles of History.
Don't get me started on Spawn. Ugh.
You talk about sometimes I consider it a dumpster fire because of just how much that was made.
But the guy strikes back, man. He bounces back every time.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Okay, so Don, go ahead and open us up with our topic that we're going to,
Okay.
dive into.
There, and this is lines that I have collected in the past. I want to see a new, fresh attempt at this line. These two lines. I'm going to preface it by saying, one, I would be fine with a reissue line. I'm afraid if they did a new version, it would be a lot cheaper and not near as good. Sort of like Power Rangers Reignition versus the original Power Ranger stuff, just as a comparison. One line I want to see, and I'm wearing the shirt. And if you don't know who this is and who I am, you won't get it. Visionaries.
Yes.
Visionaries. I want Hasbro to give Visionaries the classified treatment. It's a lot smaller line, but you can still branch out doing the Wave 2 characters that we never got. The vehicles, other than Dagger Assault, who might need a HasLab, you could do at a larger price point, I think, for as well. Visionaries is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I know I love the cartoon. I know every spell poem, even the ones from the comic for Galadriel and Virulina, who didn't get any powers in the show beyond their totems. I want new Visionaries. I wanted to get the classified treatment. I want the accessories. I want that so bad. If I had another 35 years left, I'd be asking Hasbro at conventions when we're getting Visionaries versus Headmaster RC. Honorable mention in Humanoids. Didn't collect it, but I understand the appeal. I mean, I can imagine Sideburn loving Inhumanoids. If you like monsters and stuff, I can just imagine you would love Inhumanoids. But my other line that I want to see, now this is the one, I think a reissue line, unless someone like Loyal Subjects did with it like they're doing their mask stuff, Exo Squad. I think Exo Squad is one of the, if you give me top 10 toy lines that I think were revolutionary and changed the face of collecting, Exo Squad would be on there. I think it's an absolutely incredible line. Great television show. Memorable characters. You could kind of say Exo Squad for the 90s is what Robotech was for the 80s. Mature storytelling, characters, things had weight, decisions had consequences. Stuff talked about, as you said, episode 3, episode 20, it's still relevant. It's an effect.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, if you look at your average Exo Squad toy, the parts count is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm worried a new line would really cheapen the toys to the point where it would be like your $15 Star Wars figures that have 3 points of articulation. There's some out now that I saw at Ross that have like power armor. They're kind of like pretenders, but they look like crap. The arms move and that's it. There is no head articulation. There's no waist articulation. That's what I would be afraid Exo Squad would be this cheap. People use the term shampoo bottle plastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think. It would be just this really cheap price point, like Tyco BattleTech, but worse.
Yeah.
But those are two lines that I want to, Visionaries especially. But I think for those collectors that like military and those kind of and that, I would love to see a reissue line for Exo Squad, but I would be afraid of the prices. Look at what the mask prices are, and those are much simpler than your average part count wise than your average Exo Squad frame.
This is what's killing me with the mask situation. They announce the line, it's going to come out. Then they do an alternative color line for anniversary, whatever, special edition. Then they turn back around and announce a wave 2, and everybody's like, where the hell is wave 1? Like,
Well,
I'm one of these kind of people that if you're going to keep announcing something, aren't you
you need to
supposed
give
to be
something first.
releasing something for people that actually want that? Does that not make, to me, that's just bad business.
I
This is a
think what the
bad
problem
business model.
is, I think what the problem is that
I'm muted.
they have got so much invested in this, they need to get as much use out of the molds, because these are new molds. These are not these are not original molds. These are new
No.
molds. So that's why you're getting the black and gold variants. You're getting another use out of the mold, and you're giving a collector whatever. Every company's done that in some fashion. I'm not gonna hold their feet to the fire. Every company, Takara, lucky draws, black versions,
Yeah.
gold versions, blah blah blah. So that's not it. I do think there needed to be some product on the shelf before Wave 2 was announced, but they probably have so much money invested in the molds, the tooling, and all that. They need money coming in. So showing off Wave 2 gets that money coming in. It greases the wheel. Do I like it? Not particularly. Do I understand it? Begrudgingly, yeah.
Which line is this?
The loyal
mask
subject, the
line.
mask relaunch.
Mask.
The mask relaunch.
I mean, if you've ever watched, if you've ever seen Super 7 announce a new line of Ultimate figures, you'll get like the third wave announced before the first wave comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've already announced like the next wave of Melodia, Condor, Flashback, and Hardware, and the newest wave just came out a couple of months ago. But you're still looking at June and July of next year for this next wave. But it's Flashback and Melodia, two of the ones I wanted when the line was announced.
That's just, I don't know. I just think it's kind of bad. But Megamus, what would be 2 lines that you would like to see done? Like some toy lines that were kind of forgotten, that hadn't been touched in newer engineering or what have you. What would you like to see?
Well, it would be tough because they've already done them. So it's kind of hard, you know. I guess, you know, I would love to see, you know, Robotech, and they're doing it. I'd like to see Mask, and they're doing it. I think it would be neat to see what they're doing with Transformers with the missing link. I would love to see GoBots.
Which they kind
I,
of did.
I totally agree with you, Megamus. The problem is that licensing issues. Because they have rights to the names, but not the likenesses.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
But then the problem comes into, it's just like they did with alternators. It's getting the likeness of the vehicles too, and seeing as GoBots were more closely to realistic vehicles, but in any case, we were talking about what we would love to pie in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a neat line, and it wouldn't have to be because they did 200 different ones. I mean, it wouldn't have to be that big. Give me the main cast and I'm good.
I can agree with that one. What about you, Cyber?
I mean, I kind of grew up in a weird time period because my generation has been a generation of people who have we've kind of kept our things alive. Like, if I think about the things that I was super into as like a 10-year-old boy or something like that, right? It was Transformers, Power Rangers, Pokemon, like Batman the animated series, Spider-Man, X-Men, these sorts of things. I always thought it would be cool to see didn't they might have done it because I think there was like Street Sharks, and then there was another one that was like dinosaur based. And
Fortunately, it wasn't dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. There was a second one that was basically It was Street Sharks just with dinosaurs. I remember that much.
Oh, Extreme Dinosaurs.
Yeah, Extreme Dinosaurs.
Yeah, that might have been it. It was like I remember it was one of those weird things where I didn't make it a point to catch every episode, but I would watch episodes every now and then. Which is the same with Street Sharks, but for some reason Street Sharks stuck in my head a whole lot more. And then I'm surprised that someone like maybe like NECA or Super 7 or something like that hasn't tried to pick some of those things up, those old like 90s cartoons. There was I'm something I would be interested in them bringing back shoot, what was it that I was thinking of? It was on the tip of my mind and now it's disappeared. There was a lot of shows like I don't know if there's I have nostalgia for things like Battleborgs, Metabots. I think Metabots is kind of, it gets like releases every now in Japan every now and then, but just like a whole bunch of stuff. And there was one cartoon that I really loved as a kid that never got any toys whatsoever that I'm aware of, and that I keep wanting NECA or someone to bring it, to make toys of it, especially when they were bringing back like gargoyles and stuff like that. Because Mummy's Alive.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
One of the best theme songs ever.
I would buy everything that they released if they made a Mummy's Alive toy line.
Oh, I do have some. Not really about Mummies Alive, but a property that was owned in a similar vein. Y'all remember a little show called SWAT Cats?
Yes.
Mondo teased
my
SWAT
gosh.
Cats at New Jersey Comic Con. All they had was the logo. But we could be getting, now this is Mondo. You know they're going to be pricey. But can you imagine that level of detail getting SWAT cats? And I say that because
Just get me
it's
the
possible.
jet. I want the jet.
Yeah,
I really want that
Turbo
jet.
Cat. But I'm just saying, if they're looking at all these obscure property, and I'm saying SWAT cats, it has a big fandom in a very small pond. You know what I mean? It's just people that love it, and everybody remembers it, but that's about it. It doesn't have the traction to get your up until now. You know, it didn't have the traction. But I would love a classified like a style of Mummies Alive. Playmates would, I think Playmates did the original toys, so they would probably they could do it. Hopefully not like their new Power Ranger stuff, because it's bad.
For which one?
Mummies Alive.
They had a toy line.
Yeah, Mummies Alive had a toy line. I've got figures I'm taking to the toy show. I'm setting up this weekend. Some duplicates I don't need. I got the Trooper. I got extra Scarab. I got a Jakal. I got an Amon.
I didn't even know that it ever had a toy line.
Yes, they
See?
hit. Yeah,
I didn't even know it had a show.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what toy line I would like to see done? Pretty much like in classified scale. Do you guys remember a toy line called Supernaturals?
Yes.
With the
A poor man's
holographic,
visionary, but
like,
yes.
yes.
A poor man's visionary, but yes.
Absolutely love those toys from Tonka. I think those would look fantastic if they were able to do those with modern technology. Like, I don't know exactly how they'd be able to pull off the head portion, considering it's all holographic, but I mean, if they do like a split situation, they can do that. But when you turn like the head, like the guy I had was always, I had the skeleton guy because I love Skeletor. I'm a big fan of He-Man. So I got him because he was just neat. Because it's like you look at him, he's like a mummy, and then you turn him sideways, and all of a sudden he's just nothing but like a skeleton, and it's so cool. And I always love the little like gremlin-looking dudes, the little monk
Yeah.
dudes that are nothing but like a big ghosty kind of thing, and they're just. It's such an underrated line. I don't think it gets enough love because it had glow-in-the-dark gimmicks too, which was cool. Like, do we get glow-in-the-dark anything hardly anymore? Like, I don't.
The real Ghostbusters, the Ecto Glow that Hasbro's doing.
Yeah, the new one. But I mean, Hasbro, hello. You know, you got 6-inch figures. I mean, you can do them just like the classified. You own Tonka, so you got Supernatural. What gives? And there's one other line that I really want to mention that is such a very, very short-lived cartoon series, and the toy line needed better action figures. But do you guys remember Jason the Wheeled Warriors?
Oh yeah, another great. And I keep saying that.
One of the
Another great theme.
like that show was amazing. I loved that show. It was very short-lived. There's comic books too, and I'm just like, it's one of those very underrated lines that I think if they if they do this with like modern technology, because it is a Mattel thing. Think about how Mattel does their Motu things and stuff like that, how they're able to like interchange parts and stuff. Because that entire toy line was all about interchangeability. And the tanks and the vehicles they had like the plant monsters and such. With all the Motu stuff they do, there's no way this would not sell. I think if they did some kind of adaptation or something, maybe to bring that in, that would make that really interesting. Because I mean, the technology back then, you had the walkers that actually walked because they were battery operated, and I actually have the base, the gigantic transport base that opens up, and you're able to park all the vehicles in it. That thing had so many things in it. You had elevators, you had lifts, you had everything possible in that thing, and also had storage for extra weapons that you can arm on the vehicles and swap them out. It had everything. And I'm just like, the only thing is the thing that really kind of disconnected it from the show was the figures. The figures didn't look like the characters in the show. Because I think when the show was actually being developed, they didn't actually have character designs for those figures just yet. But they just released the toy line like they did because that's what they had at the time. So it was kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's just to me one of the most underrated lines I think that could really, really go for like a modernization. That would be amazing. I mean, every one of these we've talked about has like amazing cartoons or amazing themes. But I mean, all in all, I think all these toy lines really just need to be revisited and brought out from the darkness that they've kind of just been shoved into because Hasbro and all these companies want to just do nothing but focus on 3 or 4 real big things and that's it. They don't care about the rest that they're sitting on. Because that stuff is what really shaped a lot of our childhood. Because we saw all this at KB, all this at Toys R Us, or service merchandise, or any of that stuff.
The junk pile.
The junk pile. Hey, Trendmasters was still amazing. I know most of it ended up in the junk pile. But did you know
No,
that?
junk pile.
But did
The
you
aisle.
know? Well, Voltron, right? Remember the New Dimension Voltron, the one where they did kind of the black cats that all combined?
Yeah. Mine crumbled.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Mine absolutely. And I had the dinosaur one.
I was about to bring that one up.
All the vac metal. They were basically naked mole rats by the time I had to throw that toy away because all the vac metal had flaked off and they were just chrome skeletons.
I mean, to be honest,
what was the company that did the really, really big Voltron? You had to buy them individually. They came out.
Playmates did the classics line.
No,
it was
a line, but I mean, it was huge.
Are you talking Matty Collector?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And that thing was so expensive.
Yeah, and it had bad QC issues on some of those.
Yeah, but you're talking. It was over $600, and I mean that was back in what 2000.
No, it was 20.
It was early, so we're talking with inflation.
18?
I mean, it was an expensive toy.
Yeah.
And then to have all those problems and it was a neat idea, bad execution.
Well, that Matty Collector in that time period was a series of bad decisions, and we still fought Digital River every couple of weeks for that new exclusive.
Yeah, I'm one of those kind of people. I always, at this point now, looking at all those Trendmaster Voltrons, I always kind of wanted to get the dinosaur one because it's the weird, obscure one that hardly anybody even remembers even existing. Because that was at the end of the toy line. Like, that was the one that Megamus is talking about. Bargain bin, the trash bin, whatever. That's the one that barely you ever found. Yeah, there's a dinosaur Voltron. It is crazy. Like, I'm like, that's the one I want because it's so stupidly obscure.
I missed a little bit of I missed a little bit of the discussion because I discovered that there were Mummy Alive toys and I was looking at all of them.
Well, Cyber, I sent you a message on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know.
Oh, but you know what? That makes me think of. This makes me think of. You guys remember? Was it Dinosaurs?
Dinosaur, yeah.
Yeah,
I had a couple of those.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being like really super wanting them, and then just. I mean, I was Beast Wars focused, so, and I think they were a little more expensive than Transformers usually were, but. I think that would be another one that would be cool to see come back. Just see someone do it, and I imagine those had to have the same chrome problems everything else
Yeah.
from that era had.
I would love to see. Now they're not my favorite company, but you got NECA, you got Super 7. Good again, like everyone, they have good, they have the good, they have the bad. I would like to see a dinosaur slide. I don't know why, but the show was not. It wasn't great, not really, but it was so different, and the
Hmm.
theme and the characters, and I would just like to get like a handful of dinosaur toys and just like put them on my shelf and say, along with Mighty Orbots, they finally exist.
Yeah. I mean, there were a few, but there's some that never came out too. That they actually had a few prototypes of. I think one of them was like the Triceratops or something like that that never did come out. But there was only like a handful that was even released. Um, on the topic of dinosaurs, and where I think Hasbro really missed the ball with the the fossilizers.
Fossilizers. Yeah.
Do you guys remember Bone Age?
I remember it, but never
Yeah.
did anything with it.
Kenner had this toy line that was called Bone Age. They're dinosaur toy, like skeleton toys that you can literally mix and match and turn into vehicles. And the guys that came with them were little cavemen.
Little
And I'm
caveman.
like, and the Triceratops, I remember having it. It had firing horns. I'm just like, Hasbro could have easily took the fossilizers and repackaged them in that type of packaging, and I
I
bet you
have
they probably
been
would have sold like hotcakes at that point
I
because
have
anybody
been
that remembered that line would have been
all
like,
over these.
yeah,
I'd
Well,
have been all over these if these didn't release when I was 2 years old.
yeah. I'm gonna say this. I don't I don't want to drag everything out too long, but I am going to say this. We're talking about dinosaur figures.
hmm,
We're talking about older lines that are getting a second life. I think Non-F is doing kits that you can add these to the Jurassic Park dinosaurs to make them.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm going to say? Dino Riders.
Oh,
I
yes,
thought about Dino Riders, but I
yes,
actually thought that they'd
yes,
start redoing those.
yes.
Yeah, I thought they started releasing those.
Have they?
Ah,
Well, I
I
know
thought
they.
so. I didn't mention them. I thought about them, but I thought that they were redoing those already. I thought that was already announced.
Someone did a small little vinyl set, but I do know I saw this at TFCon Baltimore last November. That I want to say it was Non-F was doing add-on kits using the Jurassic Park dinosaurs
As the
and
base.
as the base, and they were making the figures as part of the set, so you could recreate some of the Dino Riders toys.
Now, you know
that's
what
amazing.
the biggest problem with Dino Riders was?
Using the parts.
The parts and how frail it was. The
Mhm.
parts, the pegs and the clips and everything, and like one base figure would have like 30 parts to it, and they
See,
would all
I never
break.
bought any, so I didn't know.
Oh my
I don't.
god! Like just way back when I was buying collections, there was if you bought a Transformer collection, there was like two things you knew was going to happen. One, you were going to get a jump starter, no matter what. You always got a jump starter.
Send me the jump
And then
starters.
randomly, you would find these broken pieces that you couldn't figure out what they were. They were Dino Rider pieces. It's like, what's this broken ladder? Is that a He-Man? No, this is a Dino Rider, and it snapped. They just little good, and they were in weird colors too, like purple and silver, and they just weird. So like back then, if you couldn't figure out what it was probably Dino Rider.
Yeah. But for those kids, for the people that's watching this that's never heard of Dino Riders, they have
They wrote dinosaurs.
They wrote dinosaurs, but their advertisements were so over the top. The commercials were absolutely insanely done. Like they were probably some of the best commercials I've ever seen out of the 80s. Like those were amazing commercials. And I'm just like
Weren't
better
Well,
than what they actually deserved.
weren't the
But they
Dino
were
weren't the Dino
great.
Riders released in a couple under a couple different names too? Or
I don't
am
know
I
about-
mistaken? No.
Here's the
I
one thing I
think
thought was
so.
funny. Does anyone remember American Gladiators?
Yeah, I love the original one. I didn't
Yes.
like.
Okay, if you look at the names of the Dino Riders, they would fit in American Gladiators. You had Nova, Blaster, Vortex. I mean, they had some really original names here. Those were the name of the riders, by the way. So you could be just like, oh, I'm watching American Gladiator. And there's Nova against Vortex, you know?
Wait, why is he not riding a T-Rex?
Nope, he's going across these rolly bridge.
Oh, man.
Or he's trying to get away from a Nerf cannon.
Hey, wait a minute. The Dino Riders actually had firing missiles, so I guess that kind of goes together.
The art of the firing missiles lost.
Did they have?
Yeah, I
did they
know,
have
right?
mis- Were they? Those were friction, weren't they?
I don't think they
Missiles?
were
I'm
friction.
looking
I
them
think
up
they
to
were
make sure. I
actually.
don't remember them having missiles. I remember everything being like one piece.
Maybe they. I think the Brontosaurus.
No, they were like molded. They just were like a cannon with a missile sticking out of it, all molded together.
I thought they
I don't
actually had
remember them
firing
having
missiles.
stuff like that.
Maybe I'm
But
mistaken.
once again, you want to talk about expensive, like the big Brontosaurus. Holy crap!
That and the T-Rex.
Yeah, they're outrageous. They're the
And
big ones. It's like the
find
bigger, the better.
and find out where their electronics are working. That's the other thing, because the T-Rex walks. Like you press a button, it walks. Like that's like insane. Like the only other thing I could think of that's even like half as frail and intricate is like vintage Zoids. Kind of feels kind of on the same
Yeah,
par.
Zoids are a little different though, because those are like if you have a Zoids that is not put together or in the box, forget it. You're not going to complete it because all the parts were close, different colors, and it was like Legos on extreme.
Mm-hmm.
But just to give you an idea, like the Dino Rider T-Rex, $800.
Yeah.
And it doesn't list all the parts, but I'm looking at, oh my gosh. Just tons.
It's such an awesome line, though. That's the thing. It's one of those lines that really, really needs some kind of revival.
I thought that I'm gonna have to look it up.
I thought so too, but I
they were
couldn't find anything when I started looking for it. So
I think there's been homages like here and there, but there hasn't been like, because way back when Jurassic Park kind of went a little weird, like after Lost World in the 90s, they started kind of adding like really strange things to the dinosaur sets. And then they went that really wild, the Chaos Effect ones where they got all these multicolored dinosaurs that aren't even like dinosaurs, they're like hybrids, which are cool. Don't get me wrong, I love them. But they didn't have like bomb dropping gimmicks or anything like that on those, I don't think. Can't remember.
1988 had 12 had 1988 had 12 dinosaurs. 89 they came out with 10 more.
the Rulian Warriors
They had 3.
Battle Pack. Apparently, it says the Rulian Warriors Battle Pack. There was some battle pack that was released in 2021.
Oh, so they made a pack for it.
And it looks like it's a bunch of. But it doesn't. It's not the same sort of concept. I don't think. It looks like a bunch of just completely molded miniatures.
They might be just, are they just like stagnant figures, just like statues?
Yeah. But that's something that released in 2021, so that might be where we're getting the idea.
Oh, yeah. I see that. They're in green and purple.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of look like the old army men.
Yeah.
Okay,
Molded on
yeah.
little plastic stands type thing.
Which I think
And maybe that was
everybody here has
because
collected.
that's what this is. It was a
My backyard collected them too. And you can still find them out there.
it
I
was called the
have
Warriors Battle Pack.
Yep.
yeah, I have a few little. I've got like 1 inch men, like the little plastic army men. I have like 1 inch style ones, and then I've got quite a few little plastic dinosaurs. Because I mean, who didn't collect this stuff? Like Don, you can't tell me you didn't have plastic army men and stuff like that.
I didn't.
Neither did I.
I did not have any.
You guys didn't get into that stuff. Why not? It was cheap.
I just, I. Mm, it's
I'll
a
make it
long
easy.
story.
I'll make it easy for me, because by the time I really got into playing with all that and everything, GI Joe came out. So I was like, heck yeah.
Because I didn't know if you guys ever got into the Marx toys or not.
I did, but not the ones you're thinking of.
Which ones did you have?
Best of the West.
Okay, so you had the Cowboy and Indian sets.
Yeah, the
Oh no,
Marks.
Black. What was it? Black Bart.
Yeah.
That thing was cool.
Hmm.
Little derringers and little hidden thing. That was cool.
See, when it comes to Army Men, I'm just young enough that I had the second resurgence of Army Men because of Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Because everyone had Toy Story Army Men, which led to, just getting generic Army Men as well.
Yeah.
I had a set. I had a set of Toy Story Army Men.
They came in a bucket, didn't they?
Some of them
Bucket
did.
bag.
Yeah.
Blister card. I think sometimes they can, yeah. There's ones
Vague.
like I remember when they came in like I don't know if you guys remember getting like a oversized like army tank, and then they'd have them like stowed in the back of it. So I don't know if you guys remember getting those. Or not.
I feel like there were like 100 different, or there's probably thousands of different delivery methods of Army Men.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, because
Although
also the Army Men
something similar
video
to
games
that.
were popular then too.
I did have the Cowboys and Indians, and the main reason I had that is because it came with a play set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was orange, big rock, had 2 pieces and a little bridge, a
Yeah.
rock bridge,
They have a stagecoach.
and that was the Army Men, which were Cowboys and Indians, but
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, I had one of the. I forget what that one was called. I had one like that. It had like a play mat you'd put down too, like a plastic play mat you would set it on. I think it came with like little cactus and stuff like that. Which, to be honest,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of that stuff is amazing stuff to use, especially if
A
you're
lot of
setting
that
up
dollar-
dioramas or any of that
Yeah.
stuff nowadays.
It's a bunch of stuff that they like. Every dollar store had that stuff. Back when I was growing up.
Sadly, they don't have that stuff anymore. It's like
No, now they have Marvel Legends Gamoras.
yeah. Dang it! I want my like cheap little figures, man. I used to get those like in the even like at the checkout counter. We went to the we were all kids like at the grocery store. Would see them on the side, like they even had like the little spacemen. Like I have a few little plastic spacemen like that too. It's like little robots and aliens and stuff. I forget what the heck they're called though. The ones I have. But I know some of them were made by MPC Toys. Same people that made the plastic model kits. And I know a bit of time back, but I had done a review. Way back in my day, go back in my archives.
In my day.
I did a review of this thing. It's called Starship Counterforce. And it's this huge cardboard starship that has all these little plastic spacemen. And they're all like little astronauts. and it's really, really neat. Like it's got like a working elevator in it and everything. This thing's completely made of cardboard, which is amazing. And the one I got, this one had never been put together. This thing had to have come from at least probably like 1975 or something, because they do not make cardboard quality toys like this at all anymore, because it's laminated on both sides. Like when we were growing up in the 80s, the most cardboard things we got was like a lamination on the front and that was it. You didn't get anything on the back. This is both sides, which is insane. And I personally think it's probably one of the coolest non-toys out there, because it's a cool piece to put together to have for like display, but good luck trying to find one of these nowadays, because I've only seen one on eBay and I was the only one that snagged it, and I haven't seen one since. So
Probably the only one that wants it.
I probably am. I'm telling you, man, I have got like the weirdest taste in things. It gets crazy. Like I like cardboard play sets and stuff like that, and most people are like, I don't want that. I
You know,
want a
that would be
plastic toy set.
something. That would be something I would love to see Hasbro do. Is recreate the Stars playset for the new Studio Series figures.
I got it right here. Not the
Don't
stars.
you guys know anything? Anything cardboard, all it has to do is say Star Wars on it, and it'll sell.
Why don't they recreate this?
That looks familiar.
Yeah. Why don't they recreate this? How hard would this be, people? It's all cardboard. And I love this thing.
Lay it out, scan it, and someone will make it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've actually looked online and I haven't seen anybody that's done that. Not at all. Like, the Stars set has. I've actually printed off like a miniature version of it, which I've made. And I'm trying to do something to maybe get hold of like the Japanese one, because it opens like a book. Because it's kind of like one of those pop-up books is the way that one opens up, which is kind of strange. I'm still trying to figure out how to re-engineer that. And eagle-eyed people probably saw this sitting in my corner right here, this little smaller version of the Cobra missile base. This is actually one I printed off and put on cardboard backing. So I can use this for my little plastic army men. Which is amazing. And it's literally does the same thing that the original one does with the lift up rocket. And it's literally the same set. It's just shrunken. But cardboard play sets, lost art, cheap, easy to make. Why the hell don't they do it? Explain this to me. It's paper. It ain't going to hurt nothing. It's not going to kill the environment. That something is biodegradable. There you go. But anyway, let's go ahead and get everybody's final thoughts, and then we're going to skedaddle. Go ahead, Don.
Collect what you want now, because once it's gone, you may not be alive to see it come back.
That's deep, yo. That's true. That's very true. How about you, Magnus?
I'm waiting for these and Ross.
Cylons have got him.
Yeah.
You went full robot.
I think he's using a Transformers voice changer there.
Yep. I think he's smacking his computer right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, what? You went full robot.
Yeah.
Sounded fine for me.
Didn't sound like we heard nothing.
All I said was, I'm not buying anything from Walmart. I'm waiting for Ollie's and Ross.
Yeah.
Don't blame you. How about you, Cyburn?
I don't know. I mean, if you want stuff, if you want if you want weird stuff to come back into existence, you gotta speak up and then support it when it comes out. Which is sometimes a hard thing to do, but most it's always you never know when these things are going to come back, but it's just a waiting game. And I guess don't die before it comes back.
Yeah, not dying is the moral of the story here. Okay. Well, my final thought is collect what you're wanting to enjoy, collect. And if you're wanting something weird and obscure, try to support it. If you can't support it, do what I do. I make my own. Because sometimes that's the only way you can do it, unfortunately. But, I mean, if you don't have the means of doing that, get somebody to help you out with making this stuff. Not everybody's out there for tons of money for stuff. They just want you to have something to have fun, Because that's what this hobby is all about, is collecting, having fun, and enjoying what we're doing. So have everybody say goodnight, and we're out of here.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
See ya.